By the end of this video, you will be able to see how to track view cart event on your Google Ads account for your WooCommerce store using Google Tag Manager. This event helps you see which kind of users are visiting your cart and what items they were viewing when they were on the cart pages. To check whether you have admin level access of your WordPress account, you can go to the backend of your WordPress, then click on users and then identify your email address and make sure that you have administrator access. If you do not have admin access to the WordPress backend, you won't be able to add plugins or make changes to the settings that we need here. Next thing is we need to make sure that we have published access to the Google Tag Manager container. To verify that, all you have to do is go to the Google Tag Manager container and then click on user management under the container settings. We do have the user management on the account settings on the left side. We don't have to click that. All we have to do is click on the right one for the container. Make sure that your email address for the user has published access to the container. And lastly, we need to make sure that you have either admin access or standard access to the Google Ad account. To make sure that, go to the admin and then click on access and security, then identify where your email address is and then make sure you have either standard or admin access. Both of these level of access are equally fine for creating conversion actions and conversion label. Once we have verified that we have all the proper access, now we can move on to the first step, which is adding the Google Tag Manager container on the WordPress backend. To do that, there are multiple options. We can either use some plugins which are for header and footer snippets, or we can directly add the Google Tag Manager container code on the theme.liquid file. However, the easier option to do this would be to use GTM for WP plugin. Under the plugins, if you will click on add new plugin, you will see another page where we can find plugins and add to our WordPress website. Let's search for GTM for WP. This is a plugin created by Thomas Greger, and this plugin can be used to create data layer as well as adding Google Tag Manager container on the website. Once you install the plugin on your website, then hit activate to make sure that the plugin has been activated on the website. This is automatically redirect you back to the plugin pages. However, if the automatic redirect does not happen, you can just click on install plugin. If you will scroll down, you will find an option for settings right under GTM for WP. Once you click on the settings button, this will take you to the backend of the plugin itself. You will see an option which says Google Tag Manager ID, and here we have to add the ID of the Google Tag Manager container. To get the ID, you can go back to the Google Tag Manager container, and right under the admin page, you can find the ID next to the container. Let's copy this ID, go back to the WordPress backend, paste the ID right here, and make sure the container code is set to on, and then hit on save changes. There is one minor glitch in this plugin, that is, as soon as you will hit save changes, it will convert the container code from on to off. Just to make sure that your container code is always on, and then hit on save changes again. Perfect. This should add the Google Tag Manager container on your WooCommerce website. However, it is really nice to make sure that it's actually working fine. So you can go back to the workspace tab on your Google Tag Manager container and then click on the preview button on the top right corner. Once you will click on the preview button, this is going to open a temporary debug window, and this debug window will help us see what kind of events are firing, what are the event parameters inside the data layers, and all the good stuff. Add the URL of your website here and then hit on connect. Once you will hit on connect, this will open a new session with your website, and this session will be connected with the preview window where we can see different events. There are multiple ways to verify if the Google Tag Manager container is properly firing on the website. The first option is to just look at this Tag Legacy Assistant Chrome extension. If you will look at the Chrome extension, you will see that the Google Tag Manager container is properly firing on the website. And the other option to verify that is at the bottom right corner, you can see this tag snippet which says the Tag Assistant has successfully connected. If you go back to the temporary debug window, you can see that we only have one container right now, and this has fired on the website, and we can see some of the data layer events that are happening on the page. Great. Now we can go to the next step, which is the adding data layer event for the view cart event. To add the data layer for the view cart event, all we have to do is go back to the WordPress backend, and under the integration tab, you will find an option for WooCommerce. Once you click on the WooCommerce, you can click on track e-commerce events and scroll all the way down to add one more option, which is the clear e-commerce objects before new event. Clicking on the first option will give us that event, which is the view cart event, and the last option that we have clicked, which is clearing the e-commerce object, it will just make sure that if there are multiple e-commerce event firing on the website, they will not affect each other. So let's hit on save changes. Great. Doing this one thing should automatically add the view cart event on the website. However, it is really good thing to make sure everything is working all right. Let's go back to the website and go to our cart page just to make sure that the cart event are actually firing on the page. Once the cart page has loaded and you can see on the bottom right corner that the tag assistant has been connected, you can go back to the debug window and right on this new page, which is the cart one, you should be able to see a new event which is for view cart item. If you'll expand this API call, you can see all the details about this particular event, such as the currency, the value of the cart, and the items array itself. Great, that means our view cart data layer event is firing properly on the website. These are all the information that we might need later to send back to the Google Ads event for the dynamic remarketing tracking. Once this has been done, now we have to create a new conversion action inside Google Ads account. To do that, you can go back to the Google Ads account and under the goal section, click on summary right under conversions. Once you will click on this thing, it will redirect you to a new page where you can see this blue button which says plus to create a new conversion action. Once you will click on create new conversion action, this will take you to another page where we have 4 different options. The first option is for website. This is where the user is on the web page live and doing some things. We can use this for Google Tag Manager or Google Tags later in the video. If you are using mobile app, you will use this thing. If you have automatic call option directly on the Google, you will use that. However, if you are importing from some other CRM or Google Analytics, you can use the import function. However, since we are using Google Tag Manager, we are going to stick with the first option, which is the website one. Once you click on this, it is going to ask you for the URL of the website. I'm going to paste this URL right here. It does not really matter which URL you add. It has to be just on the website. And then scroll down to create a manual action. Once you will click on it, you will find that we don't actually have any kind of standard view cart thing. So I'm going to create this action under others. Let's rename this event to view_cart. This is going to have value because we saw that we have this value item inside the data layer push. So we are going to send this dynamic value back to the Google Ads account. You can change any settings that you want. However, I usually like to keep it default or give more control to the advertising person, whoever is managing it. So let's hit done and then hit save and continue. Once you will click save and continue, it is going to show you 3 different options on how to add this tracking code snippet on your website. The first option is using Google Tags. However, since we are using Google Tag Manager, we are going to stick with that. The other option is send it to your webmaster. However, we are the webmaster people, so we are going to use Google Tag Manager. We have the Google Ads conversion ID, we have the Google Ads conversion label, and these are the only things that we need. Now, for the last and final step, we can go back to the Google Tag Manager container and start creating tags, triggers, and variables that we need to track this view cart event. On your Google Tag Manager account, the first thing we have to do is create a conversion linker tag. Conversion linker tag is a necessary tag that we need to have on our website whenever we are working with Google Ads account. This basically helps with making sure that the Google Click ID is being stored throughout all the pages of the website. So let's use the trigger for all pages, and for the conversion linker, inside the Google Ads tag, you will find it as a conversion linker. Let's rename this tag to Google Ads conversion linker. Great, now let's hit save, and now we have successfully added the conversion linker. Unlike the conversion linker tag, which fire on all the pages of the website, the view cart event, we don't want it to fire on all the pages of the website, right? We only want to fire it whenever the data layer event has this view cart push in it. So we have to create a specific trigger, which is going to look for that specific event, which is view_cart inside the data layer. To do that, go to the trigger section and click on new. Let's click on tag trigger configuration and scroll down to the custom event. Since this view cart is a custom event, let's copy the name of the event exactly and paste it right here. Let's rename this tag to custom event for view cart. Now this trigger is only going to look for all the events that has view cart in it. This will not fire on DOM ready, this will not fire on container loaded, this will not fire on message. It is only going to fire if the event name is view cart. Perfect. Now we also need some other variable where we can store currency, value, and items array. So let's go back and go to the variable section to create all the variables that we need. Under the user defined variable section, let's create a new variable for data layer. The first thing we have to do is to capture the currency array. To make things easier for ourselves, I'm going to pull this window out and open it on the left side so we can both see on the left side the variable and on the right side the data layer event. Great. So first thing first, we have this currency array inside the e-commerce object. So I'm going to click on e-commerce. To get anything inside the array, all we have to use is a dot notation, and then let's select currency. Let's rename this to DLV e-commerce.currency. Perfect. Now we can do a new thing for e-commerce.value. Let's select data layer and let's create e-commerce.value. And lastly, we need an items array. Let's also create a dynamic data layer variable for e-commerce.items array. Let's rename this variable as dlv e-commerce.items. While we are at it, we should also create constant variable for conversion IDs and conversion label, because we might need it for remarketing tag and for Google Ads conversion tracking. So let's scroll down to find the constant variable, and let's create the first one for the conversion label. Let's copy the conversion ID and let's rename it to gads conversion ID. And let's create one for the conversion label right here. Let's copy this conversion label, go back to the Google Ads account and select a constant variable and rename it Google Ads conversion label, and this one is for view_cart. Great. Now we have successfully added the conversion label, conversion IDs, and all the variables that we need. Now we can go back to the tag section to create the conversion tracking tag first. Let's click on new, and then for the trigger, let's select view cart. And for the conversion tracking tag, let's click on Google Ads and Google Ads conversion tracking. The first thing we need is a conversion ID. We already have a variable for that. Second thing we need is the conversion label. We have the variable for that. Then we need e-conversion value. We are storing conversion value inside e-commerce.value. Then we have transaction ID. We don't have any transaction ID at the view cart step, so we can ignore that. The currency is inside currency. We do have product level information, so we can either add the items array right here like this by importing it from the data layer variable, or we can simply select it to the data layer itself. Both options are fine. We don't have customer information, we don't have user provided information, and we don't have shipping information at this step. So let's rename it to Google Ads conversion tracking for view_cart. And let's hit save. Great. Now we need to do the same thing for the remarketing tag. For the trigger, we only want to fire the remarketing tag on the view cart event. And for the Google Ads conversion tracking, let's select the remarketing tag. Let's select the conversion ID right here. For the conversion label, we do have the conversion label inside the view cart event. We can also send dynamic remarketing data because we know that this event is view cart. We also have the value of this event, and we do have the items array under e-commerce.items. We don't have any custom parameters and we don't have user ID, so these are the only things that we can send. Let's rename it to Google Ads remarketing tag for view_cart. And let's hit save changes. Now we have successfully created the conversion tag and remarketing tag for view cart event. However, before publishing anything, let's just make sure that the tags are actually firing, because testing is always a good step. Let's click on the preview window again, and this will open up the website, and let me open it side by side so we can see the events on the right side and the website on the left. Let's go to the cart page. Once we are on the cart page, we should be able to see a new event, which is view cart, and on that event, the event should have fired. If I select this view cart event, I can see that the data layer event has fired. It has pushed the currency, value, and items array, and I can also see that the conversion tracking tag for view cart has fired, and I can also see that the remarketing tag has fired. We can also verify this information by clicking on the new container that has loaded on the website, and if you click on the view cart event, you can see the remarketing tag has fired, and it has all the information that we have sent. It has view cart and it has the ID of that particular cart. And you can also see some more information if you go to the view cart event for the conversion tracking, which is right here. I know that the event says purchase, however, we are sending it as a view cart event. The reason that it says is purchase is because all the e-commerce events are right now tracked as a purchase thing. It is just a glitch that was never fixed by the conversion tracking tag. The second place where you can verify the same information is using the tag assistant window. If you click on the Google Ads remarketing tag and click on this request option, you will see that a view cart event has fired, and this is the information that was sent with this event. To check more information, you can go to URL and then click on this button, which will parse the whole URL. And you can see all the details about the things, what was the currency, what was the value, what was the type, and all the good things that we have sent back to the Google Ads account for this. Great. For the last step, let's just make sure that our tracking is working fine and it has been published on the website. So let's rename the container. Let's call it Tracking Academy Google Ads View Cart, Remarketing Tag, and Conversion Tracking Tags. And let's say it's published. Now we have successfully configured the Google Ads conversion tracking, and remarketing tag for view item event. If you want to see how to configure begin checkout event, click here.